Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to jump into this with you today. We're unpacking a really fascinating source text, the Academy Godly Learner series, which is actually designed for 8th graders. And what's so unique about this curriculum is how it beautifully blends cold, hard mathematical logic with some deep, real-world wisdom. Today, we are going to look at how the text teaches students to navigate missing coordinates. Think of it kind of like a giant treasure hunt where you only have half the map, but the curriculum gives you the exact tools you need to find your way. Let's get focused and explore this text together, all right?
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever thought about how you'd track down a lost drone if your remote controller just tells you it's exactly 5 miles away? It doesn't give you the exact coordinates, just the distance. You know how far it is, but you have no idea where it actually is. The curriculum points out that this isn't just some abstract math problem you'll never use. It's a really crucial real-world dilemma. Whether it's tracking a lost drone, finding a missing survey point, or pinpointing a delivery vehicle, figuring out that missing piece of the puzzle is an incredibly powerful, practical skill to master.
But before we even start crunching the numbers, it's pretty fascinating to see how the text sets up its foundation. You see, the Godly Learner series frames our whole math journey today as a pursuit of something much, much bigger: wisdom. It actually uses James 1:5 to suggest that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should just ask God. The curriculum really emphasizes that you aren't just memorizing dry formulas here. You're learning how to ask the right questions, how to seek truth, and how to approach your entire education with a strong moral compass.
Section 1. The Missing Coordinate Mystery and the Pythagorean Solution.
To solve the mystery of a missing coordinate, the text relies on an old friend we all know, the Pythagorean theorem, but it introduces a really fun twist using it backward. By taking the distance that you already know, you can essentially trace your steps and figure out that missing coordinate. This is our primary weapon for this quest, and the text breaks the whole algebraic process down into 3 super simple, manageable steps. Step 1. Set up the equation using the distance formula, which, let's be honest, is really just the Pythagorean theorem in disguise. Step 2. Work backward by plugging in the distance and the coordinate you actually know. And step 3. Just solve for the missing coordinate. Boom. 3 simple steps to crack the mystery.
Section 2. Let's dive into horizontal alignment.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it walks us through our first training exercise. Imagine point A is sitting on a graph right at the coordinates 2, 3. Now, there is another point B, directly across from it horizontally. The total distance between them is 5 units, and our mission is to find the missing x-coordinate of point B. The math naturally reveals a big surprise here. Since the points are horizontally aligned, the y value stays at 3, which means the vertical change is exactly 0. So let's set it up. The unknown change in x squared plus 0 squared equals the distance, 5 squared. That just simplifies down to x squared equals 25. And here's where the magic happens. When we take the square root of 25, x isn't just 5. It's plus or minus 5. That means point B could be 5 units to the right at 7, 3, or it could be 5 units to the left at negative 3, 3. How cool is that?
Before we rush forward, let's really lock in this fundamental difference that the text points out. When you have a horizontal alignment, the y-coordinate is constant. That means your vertical change is 0 and your goal is to solve for x. Conversely, in a vertical alignment, the point moves straight up or straight down, so the x-coordinate stays exactly the same, meaning the horizontal change is 0 and you're solving for y. This is absolutely a core rule you want to keep right in your back pocket.
Section 3. Let's dive into vertical alignment.
Okay, let's put that roll to the test with a vertical alignment scenario. This time around, point A is at 4, 1, and the distance to point B is 6 units. Because this is a vertical alignment, the x-coordinate of B stays exactly the same at 4. The mystery we're solving this time is the y-coordinate. Walking through the logic slowly. Step 1 establishes that the horizontal change is 0 because x stayed at 4. Step 2 sets up our equation. 0 squared plus the unknown change in y squared equals the distance, 6 squared. Step 3 reveals y squared equals 36. Taking the square root means y equals plus or minus 6. So starting from a y value of 1, we could go up 6 units to land at 4, 7, or we could go down 6 units to land at 4, negative 5.
Section 4. Example walkthroughs. Let's move to and see how this builds our algebraic thinking with some rapid-fire examples.
Uncovering the first example from the text, point A is at 3, 2, point B is at 10, 2, and the distance is 4. Notice anything? The y values are both 2, so it's a horizontal change only. The equation becomes 0 squared plus x minus 3 squared equals 16. That means x minus 3 equals plus or minus 4. If we add 3 to both sides, x could be 3 plus 4, which is 7, or 3 minus 4, which gives us negative 1. Moving right along to the second example. A is at 1, 5, and B is at 1, y. The distance is 3. Here, the x values are both 1, so the x change is 0. We're solving y minus 5 squared equals 3 squared, which is 9. Taking the square root gives us y minus 5 equals plus or minus 3. Add 5, and y is either 8 or 2. See? The pattern becomes quite smooth once you recognize which coordinate is constant.
The final example is a total classic. The distance between the origin, 0, 0, and x, 4, is exactly 5. Setting that up gives us x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. So x squared plus 16 equals 25. Subtracting 16 means x squared equals 9, and the square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. By the way, if you recognize the classic 3, 4, 5 right triangle pattern happening right here, you are tracking exactly with the curriculum's logic.
Section 5, Your Homework Challenge.
So, the crucial point is making sure these concepts actually stick. The source text provides several practice rounds. If you want to test the mathematical tools we've just unpacked on this quest, I highly encourage you to pause this explainer right now, grab a pencil, and write these first 3 problems down. Problem 1. A is at 5, 2, the distance is 6, and they share the same x. Find the possible y values. Problem 2. A is at negative 1, 3, B is at x, 3, and the distance is 5. Find x. Problem 3. Find y for the coordinate pair 4, y if its distance to 4, negative 1 is exactly 7 units.
And here are your final 2 challenges from the text. Problem 4. Point A is at 2, negative 3. Find the x value of point B if it is 5 units away horizontally. And problem 5. A line connects 3, 4 and x, 4 and has a total length of 10 units. What is x? I promise you, by following those 3 core steps we outlined earlier, you are fully equipped to solve these. They'll become incredibly straightforward.
Section 6, Wisdom, Morality, and Education.
And this brilliantly illustrates the higher purpose of our learning today. As the lesson wraps up the math mechanics, the Godly Learners series pivots right back to its core philosophy, intertwining biblical morality with education. The text essentially argues that education without morality can actually be harmful. It suggests there's literally no point in gaining razor-sharp mathematical skills, like finding missing coordinates, if those skills aren't paired with a moral heart to make good choices. The curriculum views true intelligence as the combination of both a sharp mind and strong moral character.
The text concludes by referencing Romans 8, 6 through 7, highlighting a promise of inner tranquility for those who maintain a spiritual mindset. It leaves the 8th grader, and really anyone reading it, with a compelling, thought-provoking question. As you grow your intellect to solve complex problems, how will you use that education, combined with moral wisdom, to bring peace to your everyday choices? It's just a fascinating look at how this specific curriculum attempts to blend algebraic smarts with deep life lessons. Thank you so much for exploring this with me.